Hi guys, and welcome to the video. So in this video we're going to look at one of the questions that have been asked quite a lot, which is how I block out my primer repairs before paint, and also how to make sure you remove your scratches properly. So the first thing, we're just going to go through what we're going to be using. We're going to be using the P320 discs. We've got P500 discs, which are going to be the finishing discs to go on the sander. We've also got some dry guide coat. We're obviously using black for this because we've got a nice grey primer, so the black guide coat will go well for this job. You can get white as well, and some masking tape just to protect little areas. So like on this section of the car here, where we've got this section that we want to block, I don't really want to start damaging that sill section and rubbing through down there, even though we are painting it. So I'll just use a bit of tape just as protection on areas like that, so we're not going to rub through on them swage lines. So this isn't a video that I've just made up to show you guys. This is actually how I do it. One of the keys to this, I suppose, is obviously a good quality block. I use the Dura block kit. They are really nice blocks. The hook and loop, so they can be used with your discs, oil long bed sanding strips, whatever you use. So here we've got a high build primer, and in the centre was the repair. It's just like a little parking ding or something like that. So the first things first, let's get some guide coat on that. Now I actually use a wax applicator sponge to put the guide coat on. I think it's a lot better than the actual applicators that come with guide coat. And then we've got the P320 on the block, and we're just going to start blocking this high build down to make sure that this repair is nice and flat. Now you don't specifically have to use P320, you can start off a lot harsher, but as you work through the grades, do what we're going to do here, and you'll see why as we get towards the end. Because obviously using a P320 we can't paint over this. I mean, you could in a solid colour, but the chances are, even when you clear over it, you're going to get a bit of dye back when you bake it, and you will see some of them scratches. So you just want to nice and evenly block this out with your 320, just making sure that you've got that repair there nice and flat. And obviously don't just rely on the guide coat. The guide coat is a visual aid. Also use your hands as well. Touch. You've got your eyes you can look with, you got your hands you can touch with, you've got all these options that you can use. Now we've blocked that out, we can see that the repair's blocked out nicely, there's no low spots in there anywhere, and there's no pinholes. So the next stage would be to guide coat this again. Now this is the key really to making sure that you always remove all your prep scratches, because all our prep scratches at the moment are heading obviously in that diagonal fashion where we've blocked the panel out. So now we're going to take our DA. This is just a standard, I think it's like a 5mm orbit DA, and we're just going to nice and flat with the DA with an interface pad on it now, just run over this. Now I get asked this question a lot, what's the point in blocking out a repair and then going over it with the DA, because surely the DA is going to get rid of the blocking. It's not. If you keep this nice and flat and you follow the curves of the car as you're going, as you can see here, just nice and light, then in no time you should be able to sand that out. Now at the point where you can't see those black scratches in that where that guide coat was, and you will see it disappear as you sanding it, that's the point when you know you've removed all your P320 scratches. So then we can move on and go to the next repair. Now this particular car, it is actually my mum's car. She went away for a few days and she had a lot of parking dings on it. She had a couple of dents in the bonnet and a lot of stone chips around the car, so we actually pinched it off her while she was on holiday and tidied this up for her. We did the wheels, and we did basically quarter panel to quarter panel all the way around the car, including the bonnet. I think the only thing we didn't do was the rear bumper, the boot and the roof, but I mean the rear bumper's been done at a previous time anyway, so it's pretty much, we gave it a full respray, and it didn't really take too long either. But as far as repairing wise goes, this is on any sort of job in the shop, this is how I would go about blocking out a repair. I'd say use maybe a 240 if it was a deep repair, or even a 180. But if you go down to something like a 180 first, you need to make sure you've got enough of a build of primer there so you can work up your grades. So you could go like a 180 and then say re-guide coat it and then block it with a 320 just to be on the safe side, or D8 with a 320 and then D8 with a 500 to finish, or whatever your grade is for finishing. Personally, On a standard metallic like this, I would finish with 500. If it was a silver, I'd go up to 600 and just finish it with that, just to make sure that, obviously with the silvers, you've got a lot more metallic in there and you want to make sure them prep scratches are as fine as possible. But one of the keys, obviously, with not ever getting your prep scratches showing through in your base coat, or having them showing through in your clear dropping back when you obviously bake the car or anything like that, is making sure that you remove all these 320 scratches properly. And the easiest way that I've ever found that to do is just to buy one of these little tubs of dry guide coat. They're not expensive at all. I've had this one tub of dry guide coat now for years. It's done resprays, it does on a daily basis, it does, I'd say we're probably doing around about 2 paint jobs a day at the moment. So it gets used a lot and it lasts a long time. Now, as I said, I do prefer using one of these polish applicator sponges, and I will actually leave a link in the description if you're interested in some of them. I get them in a pack of, I think, like 10 for a tenner off Amazon or something like that. They're not very expensive at all. And when they get clogged up, I literally just take them home with my microfibers from work, throw them through the wash, bring them back in, and then I've got a fresh set to go at again. So we've blocked out all those repairs, and now we're just going to do exactly the same. Just nice, light, flat, even pressure across your panel, just following those curves and just making sure that as you sand this out, when you take that guide coat back, you can't see any black lines in that guide coat that have been left from your 320 scratches. And obviously not all areas, you can't always get your DA around all the areas on a car. So DA, you can use the DA where it's easy and accessible to use the DA, and then obviously you need to switch over and just tickle up the little edges and stuff by hand and work those edges by hand, just nice and lightly and gently. And again, you can do exactly the same process and just look at your guide coat. So when you've got an area like this inside the handle, you can just use the disc in your hand, rub that all out, make sure all that guide coat's smoothed out, make sure all your primer edges are smoothed down and everything's nice and flat and ready to take your base coat on top of it. So I'm sorry it's been a while since I've stuck a video up, guys, but things at the shop actually are sort of like mad busy at the moment, and we're doing a lot of hours and a lot of long days, and now the summer's coming up, it's very hot long days as well, so it's been a bit hard to sort of like come home at night some nights and get some editing done. But I have actually got a hell of a lot of footage actually shot now from this last few weeks when we've been really busy. I've also got a little bit of video on a dry metal flake gun that I'll probably try and get up midweek this week, this next coming week for you. It's something that I've tested out on a little skateboard that I've had for a while. Thought we'd do a little bit of video on this dry flake gun to give it a bit of a test. So that's something that I'll be getting up soon. And also I'm going to try and get a few more actual repair videos as well as painting videos up for you guys, and try and cover a few more aspects of prep like this, so you can see a few more of the fundamentals of the job rather than just me in the booth spraying all the time. Because I think what I'm going to try and do with the channel this year is try and sort of like get a really good mix of videos between prep and paint and repairs, and try and maybe get a couple of little video series on a car from start to finish, maybe do a prep video on one, and then like the primer and the prep stage, and then go into the actual paintwork stage and stuff like that, and try and mix it up a little bit. And I've also been speaking to a few firms and a few manufacturers about maybe taking a day out from the shop and actually heading up to them and spending the day with them and showing you guys a little bit more about some of the firms behind the products that we use. Maybe if we can get the chance to go up to one of the spray gun manufacturers for a day, say someone like J-Tape for a day, and head up to them and spend a day with them and show you a little bit of the process and what actually goes into behind the scenes into the products that we are actually using, which I think that would make some good content. So let me know if that's something that you think it would be something that you'd like to see. It's certainly something that I'm interested in. Obviously, like this roller masking tape here, we pick this tape up day in, day out, but we don't really think about the sort of the technology and the people that actually go behind making, go behind the scenes into making these products that we use on a daily basis. So I think that's something that we might also touch on this year if it's something that you guys want to see. So let me know in the comments below if that's something that you'd be interested in, as well as obviously, you know, mixing things up a little bit. We're going to try and get, obviously, like I said before, some repairs, some preps, some masking tips and tricks, stuff like that, and also get a lot of booth time shot as well, and just try and mix things up and get that nice little sort of mix up of a mishmatch of back to getting down to the grassroots of a bit of everything on the channel, rather than just me stuck in the booth all day painting, which obviously in my last job it was a bit hard to shoot work actually in the body shop on the repair side of things, whereas now obviously I'm at my own shop, it's a lot easier to get a bit more sort of freedom to do what I need to do video wise. But let me know in the comments below what your thoughts are on that. And you know, videos like this, I've been asked for this video now more times than I can remember. You know, what is the way that I personally block out my repairs, and I find the easiest to give the best clean results to a job like this. And personally for me, you know, this, like I said before, this isn't something that we've just shot as an example video. I just stuck the GoPro on for doing this car, set things up a little bit differently, obviously by setting everything out on the floor so you guys could see exactly what I'm using. But normally when I come to do a job, I will do a job in exactly the same way. Not always in the booth like I'm here. I tend to shoot a lot of the videos for the channel actually in the booth, just because I've got better lighting for you guys and you can see a lot better. You know, 9 out of 10 jobs actually don't get sanded in the booth, they'll get sanded in the workshop, unless it's something that I'm filming and I want to get a little bit more better light and a bit better angles, and obviously get a bit less background noise from the actual stuff that's going in the workshop, so it makes it a bit easier to make a clean video if I do it in here. And obviously having a proper booth now, it's easy enough to clean your booth out if you do a job like this in here. You know, you can literally just switch the booth on, take the airline and blow all this dust and everything off the floor straight through the filters and clean the car up, and away you go. Because obviously with having the airflow of the booth, it's simple enough to get rid of any of the dust or anything that's in the booth. And another thing that I want to touch on at the end of this video is, you'll probably notice that so far I haven't changed a sanding disc. I'm still using the same sanding discs. Now these are the Stark sanding discs from PMP Supplies. I bought 3 boxes from them when I had a big order this particular week. I think it's like £45 for 3 boxes of 100, and I tell you what, they cut twice as well as any other sanding disc that I've ever used, and they last really long time. They've got a really good cut, they're really long lasting, they're well worth the money compared to like the normal discs that we get from our local supplier. They really are nice. I mean, I bought 3 boxes of these about a month ago. I mean, we're still going strong on these 3 boxes, because you just tend to use absolutely no discs whatsoever. I think for this whole car, for like both sides, I use like probably 3 discs tops. I use like 1 320 and 2 500s, and there was a lot of work on this car as far as blocking out repairs went. They really do last a long time. Anyway, that's it for this video, guys. I will leave a link in the description to those sanding discs for you, and I hope you've enjoyed this video, and I will see you again soon for the next one. Bye for now.